Today, I want us to talk about something that has been bothering me for a while. I'm not sure whether I'm going to say the importance of education or the impact of lack of education. I was bored. Accounting was not challenging enough for me. I became big-headed and I was like, nah, I don't need education. Now, when I speak to people and I say I am looking for employment, I have to have a disclaimer that I do not have a qualification. Education broadens your mind, and education broadens your thinking capacity. Good day. Welcome to Black Speaks. My name is Zonobele Chayana, and I am your host for the day. I want to share my story as a background to what I'm saying. After I passed my matric, I enrolled for a national diploma in accounting at the then Eastern Cape Technikon in Queenstown. I did my first year and I passed with flying colors. I went on to do my second year, and this is where I got bored. Yes, I got bored of doing accounting. At this time, I had already been doing accounting since Standard 5. So you can imagine from Standard 5 up to matric and up to second year level, I was bored. Accounting was not challenging enough for me. So what did I do? I quit. I said, nah, not for me. But something in me said, you know what? Continue doing accounting. I did my second year. I didn't write my exams. This is the first time that I'm talking about this. I didn't write my second year level exams. I just couldn't push myself. Yes, I had a DP. Yep. I was passing, remember? I had my DP. But I just didn't write. I just couldn't push myself to go and write. Then I enrolled at Technikon SA because I thought maybe it's the Eastern Cape Technikon that is giving me problems. I enrolled at Technikon SA the following year because I wanted to finish up my diploma. Studied the whole year, and when it was time for me to write my final exams, I said, no, I'm not doing it. If I continue with this diploma and I finish it, I will have to be employed in the accounting space, and that was not me. I was not meant to sit in an office doing bookkeeping or doing accountancy work. Accounting was not me. And this is in contrast to how I used to ace accounting from Standard 5 up until first year. Those who went to junior with me will tell you that I was one of the top students when it comes to accounting. In fact, I passed accounting in Standard 7 with a B symbol. Those who went with me to high school will tell you that I was one of the top students when it comes to accounting. I aced it. I loved it. But somehow I didn't love the job prospects that it brought to me. Perhaps had I taken the stream of being a CA, maybe things could have been better. I just didn't see myself as a bookkeeper. I didn't see myself as an accountant or an accounting officer or an accounting clerk. That was not me. That wouldn't be challenging enough for me. And what also pissed me off was the fact that the generally accepted accounting principles, they were rigid. So I said, no, not me. I quit. I left Mthatha where I was attending for Technikon SA, and I came to Johannesburg. I stayed in Germiston with a friend of mine. And this was after a year and a half, in fact. I got into HIV management. I'm not sure whether, I would say by default, because I had just been diagnosed with HIV. And I loved it. I loved health consulting. I loved dealing with health issues. But I didn't see myself going back to school. What is the use? What was the use of going back to school? Because at that time, I was doing great. You know, when you get called left, right, and center to come and speak, when your name gets mentioned Whenever people are talking about HIV, your name becomes one of the names that are mentioned. I became big-headed and I was like, nah, I don't need education. In fact, I remember I used to say my qualification is HIV because it's put me in a platform that even graduates didn't get. I would boast that I was traveling with ministers, or I was having meetings with ministers, I was meeting presidents, I was meeting foreign dignitaries. I would boast about all of those things. And I would say none of my educated friends have been where I have been. So education to me didn't seem like it was something that I needed. I was okay. I was doing fine. I would even boast that I can go to an interview and the person that is opposing me in an interview has got masters, and I will beat them hands down because I'm an expert in what I do. And yes, that happened. I got positions that when they were advertised, they said they are looking for someone with masters, and I would get in. All I needed was a leg to get in. All I needed was an opportunity to go into an interview. And I knew when I went to that interview, I would charm them. I knew I would mesmerize them. I knew I would definitely leave them with a headache between choosing someone with experience and knowledge over somebody with a qualification. This continued for some time. I got positions that when I look at them now, I shouldn't have gotten. And for years, people were asking me, Zonabel, why are you not going back to school? And I would say, nah, I don't need school. I would ask them, what is it that I have not achieved that needs me to go to school? Here I am working, consulting for government departments. Here I am implementing programs that I'm basically consulting for people that have got NQF level 7, NQF level 8, or level 9. I would actually be sitting proudly boasting about how illiterate I am and how in my illiteracy I was opening doors for myself. For years, I didn't have any responsibilities. I could have gone back to school and did a degree in health sciences. I could have done a degree in health promotion. I could have done any degree that I wanted to do back then. But no. My mind said no. You don't need education. I would sit with PhDs and I would be gauging their thinking abilities. And I put myself as being one of the critical thinkers you can have. I had pride in that I could hold my own with doctors, lawyers, advocates, engineers, you name them, scientists. No conversation would be above me. Because one of the things that I pride myself in doing is to read, is to research. I read. And I thought by reading, I was widening my scope. But also I thought reading alone is going to give me pedigree. It's going to make me employable. Then life didn't stop. Life moved. I grew. I became older. I had responsibilities. I had a wife. I had kids. I had responsibilities. Even when I wanted to go back to school, I looked at the money I was earning and I was like, no, it's not enough. I kept on saying, postponing, say I'm going to go to school next year. Those who have had conversations with me as far back as 2016 can tell you. I've been saying I'm going back to school every single year from 2016. 9 years later, I have not gone back to school. 9 years later, a higher certificate, an NQF level 5 certificate that I was doing, I did not finish because I didn't see the value nor the need. I was working. I was sitting in boardrooms where I thought I shouldn't, as an illiterate person, I shouldn't be sitting here. But here I am, Here I was, sharing tables, sharing hotel rooms, not hotel boardrooms, attending seminars, attending conferences, and illiterate. And that gave me a sense of security and a sense of pride. Life continued. It didn't stop. I kept on saying, I'm going to go back to school. I remember when COVID came, I was preparing to go and register go UNISA for not sure whether I wanted to do LLB or what. Then COVID came and I made an excuse. I can't remember what other excuse I made in the years following COVID. Even when I got retrenched in 2018, instead of going back to school, I kept on having excuses because I felt education wasn't something I needed. And then it dawned on me. I've wasted more than 20 years, 27 years. I've wasted 27 years of my life and not gone back to school. And now I'm in my 40s, highly experienced in what I do. You can wake me up and ask me about HIV management. I'll tell you. You can wake me up and ask me about health in general. I'll tell you. You can wake me up and ask me about mental health. I'll tell you. Ask me about non-communicable diseases. I'll tell you. But here's the thing. I have nothing that proves my expertise in what I do. And it's even difficult to follow the RPL route because you call the RPL offices in these institutions, they respond to you once and after that they never respond. I'm not sure whether there's something that they're not getting when there's a person who's applying for RPL. I don't know. But I can tell you now, I've tried to contact the RPL officers in various institutions. You get a response once. When you follow up, there's no response. I said, after I got retrenched, for the second time last year, September 2024, I sat and looked back and I said, had I done even a degree, right now I would be employed. In fact, I would be highly employable because of my experience. Now, when I speak to people and I say I am looking for employment, I have to have a disclaimer that I do not have a qualification. There must be a disclaimer. Because especially people who have seen me do my work, when they look at me, they think that I have a qualification. And when I give them the disclaimer that I do not have, I see how dejected they feel because the system is not designed for that. It's not designed for people who do not have qualifications. The system is designed in such a way that for you to progress in or to get in, you must have a qualification. I've seen positions, senior positions, that if I had a qualification, with my experience, I would highly fit. But I cannot apply for those. Even when I apply, I know that my application gets rejected without even being looked at because I do not meet the minimum requirements. And the minimum requirements are a tertiary qualification, NQF level 7. Others even say NQF level 6. I have no post-matric qualification, and that has led to me not being employable. Now, with old age knocking, I'm approaching my 50s. Who would want to employ an almost 50-year-old who does not have a qualification? Experience can take you so far. Just like qualifications alone can take you so far. Experience alone can take you so far, and you get to a point where experience is not enough, where people need assurance that you know what you're talking about. People need assurance that you know what you are doing. Yes, the system is not playing. And the system is designed in such a way that as you grow, what educated people knew back then, I only realized a few years ago. Because my mindset, my thinking, had not been broadened by education. Education broadens your mind. Education broadens your thinking capacity. Education broadens your viewpoint. Education gives you an edge. It takes what you have been gifted with and it polishes it. Now I keep on asking myself, what would I have achieved had I had a qualification? Would I be where I am today? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I usually say I'd probably be a director or chief director somewhere. That's the minimum. With the kind of experience and the kind of knowledge and the kind of zeal I put when I do my work and the ambitions I have. Those who know me will know how ambitious I am. I'm a go-getter. Even now, without the education, I still apply for positions that minimum say they are looking for someone with a degree or a diploma. And sometimes I apply for positions where they are looking for someone with a master's degree. And I say, they dare make a mistake and call me to an interview. They dare make a mistake and call me to an interview. But up until when? Up until when shall I continue saying, if they dare make a mistake and call me to an interview? In a time or at a time where people who have matric are like people who are not educated at all, and even people with junior degrees are too many, and so many that now what gives you an edge is having a master's degree. And I keep on boasting that I have matric and experience, 27 years, 26 or 27 years experience. What use is the experience when I cannot prove? Because having a qualification in what I do is proof that I know what I'm doing. But if a person takes me, employs me now without knowing or without that assurance that says I know what I do, what I'm doing, they're taking a gamble. Now, every time I am applying, I'm asking recruiters to take a gamble on me. I'm asking them to take a gamble and give me a chance. Am I being fair to recruiters? No. Am I being fair to myself? No. So I'm saying this, hoping that if there is a young person who is thinking of taking a gap year, or who has taken a gap year, or who is saying, I'm tired, I don't want to get educated, young man, young woman, reevaluate your choice. Rethink your choice. You are giving away your competitive edge by not getting educated. Just do your junior degree. Then you can pursue your hobbies. You can travel the world. You can do anything you want. You can be an influencer. You can do whatever else you want, but just have a degree. Just have a qualification. Have something that proves that your thinking has been expanded. Your thinking has been broadened. Have something. You do not want to see yourself 25 years after this repeating what I'm saying today and kicking yourself up for not having a qualification when you had time to pursue education and get a qualification. I had more than ample time. I had more than enough time to pursue education. But I made choices. Choices that are today coming back to bite me. I made a choice not to go to school. I made a choice to quit back then. And I made a choice not to pursue any further education after that. For 27 years. And now, again, this year, I keep on making promises that I'm going back to school. I keep making promises to myself that I'm going back to school. Today, I was sitting here browsing university websites. I even applied to one, Butu University in Botswana, because they have an online program that I'm interested in. I looked at other online programs that I could be interested in. And yes, instead of just saying I'm going back to school next year, I've taken the first step. I'm applying. Because I have to have a degree. Even if it's just a junior degree, I need to have a qualification. Even if it's not for employability, but I need to have a qualification for myself. Not for anybody else, for myself. To prove to myself that I'm not a failure. To prove to myself that I can do it. And to prove to myself that I have what it takes to have a qualification. That is now my focus. Yes, thank you so much for watching today's episode. I am hoping that you are going to get something out of it, and you will rethink the choices that you have made regarding education. But I can tell you, as I said, education is the key. You need education. You need to have a qualification. It doesn't matter in what. That will be your personal choice, or your choice with your career guidance advisor. But for now, I'm saying pursue education. It opens up so many opportunities for you. I can go on and on and on about it, but I choose to end it here. Thank you so much. Till next time. Goodbye.